Hello everybody, this is Linda from North Central Texas, and I've got tomatoes out of the garden. I've got jalapenos out of the garden. Let me get a couple more jalapenos over here. Probably 3 of them will be enough. That might be too much because I don't want it too hot. We're making us some homemade salsa, and I just want to pick out some of my green tomatoes because I'm not going to try to put my green tomatoes in my salsa. I'm going to let them ripen. If they don't ripen, I'll make me some fried green tomatoes. That's a funny shaped one right there. That tomato. But this was some of the last tomatoes out of my garden. That's a yellow tomato, so we'll put that in there. I don't want a bell pepper in there. But I'm going to get all these green tomatoes out. They're little, but you know, most of the time they will ripen in the house even though they're green if you leave them on the counter. These were green when I first picked them, these Ponderosa Pink. And look how pretty and pink they are. So I can make me a BLT with these. But I've got some little cherry tomatoes, grape tomatoes, and I just need to pick the stems off of them. Because I don't want stems in my salsa. Now you can save a few of your little grape tomatoes for a salad if you'd like. But that's a gold tomato there, these two. So they're ripe even though they look like they're green ones, and this one is too. But I need to get the stems off. Yeah, I'm not going to put too much jalapeno in there because I don't want it so hot I can't eat it. See if I can find any more that's got the stems. Most of my little grape tomatoes had their stems left on them when I picked them. Because they were about half green when I picked them, but they've ripened up since they've been in this bowl, sitting on my table. So they're perfect right now to either eat in a salad or make salsa. Just take them over here and wash them off a little bit. And believe it or not, I had one little plant of cilantro that survived in my garden. So I went out there this morning and I just cut the whole top of it off. And it's just enough to go in my salsa. And I've got garlic from the garden that I've peeled already, so I didn't waste your time. But we're going to just throw our ingredients in the blender, and I'm going to put just a tiny bit of sugar. We don't want it sweet, but I'm going to put about a teaspoon of sugar in there, and that's plenty. I'm going to start adding these. I'm not peeling them, but I'm going to cut the part where the stem was off. And then I'll just quarter them or cut them in half, whatever I need to do, and put them in the blender. You know, just cut that little end piece off where the stem was. Those are nice and ripe, even though they're gold. You know, they look like they're green because they're not pink and red like a normal tomato. Because these are like sun gold tomatoes. They're pretty in gold color. And they're just as ripe as they can be. I'm not peeling them really. Some of them have a little bit of a tough skin, so I will take part of that off. If it comes off really easy. But since we're putting them in the blender, we're just going to pulverize them anyway, so it doesn't really matter about the skin. A Roma tomato here. Look at that. Little Roma tomato. And this one is gotten a little bit too ripe, I think. Yeah, I'm not going to use that one. It's a little bit too ripe. Almost waited too long to do this. I was waiting for some of the tomatoes to ripen up because, like I said, a lot of them were green when I brought them in. Or half green. They weren't good and ripe yet. So I wanted them to be real good and ripe to make this salsa. Just cut the ends off and then cut the little ones in half or quarter them. Whatever you need to do to cut them up just a little bit. There's another little Roma tomato. Right out of the garden. But I went and picked all of them that I thought might ripen even though they were green. And I picked all the ripe tomatoes, the ones that are turning pink, because I was afraid it was going to freeze and kill them. But it has not gotten that cold yet. It's got down to right at freezing. But I guess by the time it got down to the freezing point, it already started warming up, and it didn't stay at the freezing point long enough to kill the plants yet. Which, you know, it'll probably happen sometime this month or next month. These little cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes don't even need to be cut. But I still have the tops on some of them. Yeah, I'm just going to put them in there like that. They'll get chopped up. But just think, just because you got grape or cherry tomatoes doesn't mean you can't fix salsa. You can have a blender full of cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes and still make a salsa with them. Now I'm going to throw in my cilantro, and it smells wonderful, that cilantro does. I'm going to put in, I don't know, maybe, these are little cloves because my garlic was in little bulbs. So I'm going to put about a half of a bulb in there. That's about 6 little, well, you know what? I'm going to put it all in there. That's almost a whole little bulb, but like I said, the whole bulb was about that big around. It was little. You know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and put this one in there because it's ripe. It's as ripe as it can be. I'm going to cut the ends off of these jalapenos. Cut them in half and put them right in there. You know what? I think these two are going to be plenty because I don't want it so hot I can't chew it or I can't eat them. I need to get me I found if you don't have a juicer to put your lemon on to get the juice out, take a knife and cut the end of it off, and then take your knife and just jab it down in the lemon. It cuts a lot of it apart so you can squeeze your juice out just like that. So you basically want about the juice of one lemon. I tried to get the seeds out of it that I saw. Pretty much got all the juice out of that lemon. Now I'm going to put an onion in there. Go ahead and peel this little onion. Now, if you want your salsa hot, pepper-wise, you can add more jalapenos. I just put 2 medium-sized jalapenos in there because I don't want it so hot I can't eat it. Some people like to just fill it full of jalapenos. I don't, so. And just cut the onion up a little bit. You don't have to chop it. Just cut it in quarters or eighths. I think I'm going to have more salsa than what I thought. I may have to get me a bigger jar to put it in. Now I'm going to put salt. About half a teaspoon of salt. Whew. My eyes are burning, y'all. From the onion. Now, if you want chunks in yours, you know, you can leave big chunks. I basically pulverize mine almost. Let's see. That's part of the cilantro right there. It didn't get chopped up. And I think that's good. Whew. That's got a little bit of heat. If I'd have added that other pepper, that would have been too hot for me. Those 2 little jalapenos were plenty. Mmm. Woo! Now, some people, instead of putting it in a blender like I did, they just like to chop up their jalapenos on a cutting board. They like to chop up their tomatoes on a cutting board. They chop up their tomatoes on the cutting board. So they're a little bit of a chunk to them. They're not more liquidy like mine is. But this is the way I like mine. And I'm going to put the rest of it in this jar. I'm hoping that'll hold it. Whoop. I needed a bigger jar, but that'll work for now. But you can put it in a jar after you make it if you're not going to eat it all right then. Store it in the refrigerator for, up like a week. I mean, it'll keep. You got your lemon, your peppers, your onions, tomatoes, your garlic, your cilantro, salt, whatever you need is in there. So you can just store it now, take it out and pour it out in a dish like this and eat it as you'd like. That's what these Texas chips are all about. You go in restaurants out here and they usually serve you, especially the Mexican restaurants, they'll serve you a bowl, a great big bowl like I had out here, full of chips, and then they'll bring you several smaller bowls of salsa and put it out on the table for you to eat as an appetizer while you're waiting for your meal. So there you go. Y'all take a bite of my salsa on a chip. Mmm. That's good. Woo! A little hot. We'll go ahead and get a bigger jar. It's a wide mouth jar, so I don't even need the... But that'll hold all of it. Look at that. And we never had salsa and stuff like that back where I'm from. So when we first moved to Texas, we ate salsa and chips all the time. I mean, because we were not used to eating it. See, there's a Texas chip. Dip it in there and get your salsa. Mmm. That's good. This is a way to keep from double dipping, as I call it. Just break your chip in half. That way you can go back and dip your chip in again without double dipping. That's good, y'all. And I gotta take these scraps out to the compost bin. But look at there, I got me a whole jar of salsa now to eat. I'll be eating salsa through the whole holidays. Right on through New Year's. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. It'll keep. Just like the salsa you buy at the store, it's going to keep in the refrigerator till you get ready to eat it. So with that, try you some homemade salsa. This is the authentic way they make it here in Texas. It's just tomatoes, jalapenos, cilantro, onion, lemon. They don't leave out anything. Salt. It's easy. But yeah, I got me a whole quart jar of salsa now to eat. See y'all later. Love y'all. Bye now.